So we went down to Portland, Maine. We had an appointment down there, so we decided to make it into a family adventure. So the first stop that we went was to the LL Bean factory or store in Freeport, Maine, and it was so much fun. They have so much taxidermy in there. They're very friendly with the kids. They let them come and see everything, and that's part of the store, is just to be able to see all those cool things. So they had like a whale, they had moose. It was really, really neat. It is 2 floors and it's just beautiful. This beautiful moose like kind of greets you when you first walk in, and then there was this really cool thing where they found 2 moose that were stuck together. Their antlers were stuck together in Maine, and they asked them if they wanted to have them for their store, and they said yes. The big reason is we wanted to see this giant LL Bean boot. On our way back, we saw this giant Indian like 5 minutes up the road. So the next spot we went was to Portland Head, and we had been here before. We actually love it. We had been here before with Sarah and her family, the Cowperthwaites, and it was just really fun. We had done years ago, this scene right here, years ago we had done a puzzle with my son who passed away. We used to love doing puzzles, and we did a puzzle of Portland Head. So the first time we went, it was like, wow, this is so cool. We're like right here. And it is just such a beautiful, beautiful spot. We had been in the summertime before, and we really enjoyed the summertime, but this time of year was really exciting too. Look at the waves coming up on the ocean. It is just like amazing. This year, actually, Portland Head had some extensive damage done to it because see that water way down there? During the storm, it came way up and it actually broke some pieces on the house to the lighthouse itself. And this is a house right here to the lighthouse, and it goes around in a circle. Maine is known for these beautiful cliffs, and I absolutely love it. It was weird the way the clouds were going back and forth. It almost looked like it was going back and forth. So I went to show you guys that, but then it made me feel nauseous. So I said, okay, we won't do that. But the kids thought it was looking cool because it looked like it was going to fall over. Look at the view. The view is just amazing. The kids are having so much fun watching the waves. The waves were actually kind of foaming up a little bit, and just gorgeous. Look at the rocky coast there. It's one thing that I have just learned to love so much about Maine is this rocky coast. They're having so much fun, getting so big. They would sit there and watch the ocean for hours, which is kind of amazing because that's how I was growing up. I love just watching the ocean. There's something beautiful just about watching the waves come up and in and over. So if you have not been to Portland Head Lighthouse, it is gorgeous, and you'll see here in a minute it's not the only thing that's in this park. So there is also other things to do in this park, but there's a walk and stuff that all goes around. I don't know if you can see this here. There we go. There's another lighthouse way out there. There's quite a few lighthouses between Cape Elizabeth and Portland if you ever get in the area and like lighthouses. So on the other side of the lighthouse is this here. In front of us is where there was a shipwreck, and so it says that right on the rock. I don't know if you can read that or not, but right on that rock there's a painting saying that there's a shipwreck there. And yeah, this was just, I could have like sat right here for hours. You could just hear the waves splashing up again, like they were going up the thing, and the kids were just so in awe of that. So I think that is such a blessing for this time of year to go, even though it's chillier outside. It was pretty much, I don't want to say empty, but in the summertime when we went, there was a ton of people, and this time of year there was barely anyone. And so you got to like experience that by yourself and just be able to stand there for as long as you want without somebody trying to scootle you along. So that was really awesome. Very hard. And they loved right here. They thought that they saw like some fish or whatever up there, so they were looking at those and just watching. See the the water just hitting up on those waves. So they were loving it. We needed to kill some time before we were supposed to go to the hotel at 4 o'clock. So we were killing some time by going here. So this is actually another spot at Portland Head Lighthouse, and it is a mansion. So when you first go into Portland Head, the first turnoff is actually going to be this right here, and it's really cool. It's all stone. I love like old architecture, so that might just be like a me thing, but it was really cool. You can walk up and around, and you can see, like, when you go on the back side, you'll be able to see like the ocean and that type of stuff. So the person who built this actually ended up building the first hotel in Portland, or I can't remember if it was Portland or if it was in Cape Elizabeth. I think that at one point they divided. So if you're local or local to there, let me know in the comments below, or let others know in the comments below. So it is all fenced off, and there was no like roof or anything on it, but just look at that architecture in there. Look at all those stones, how much time that must have taken. It was beautiful. So then that's from the back side of it, and then there is also a fort here. So the kids they're holding their noses like, ew, it stinks in here. This little cubby actually ended up going like way around, but they didn't realize it till almost the end because it was so dark in there. So they were having fun and going in and out of there until they realized they could go around, and then that was like the adventure of the day. That was an old fort, and you could oversee on the top there the ocean. Okay. So we got back to the hotel. This is what we were eating for supper, which was just tacos, and how I did that. I made a little short out of this earlier, just to show you guys how you can feed your family semi-healthy, even when you're out on the road, and you can save yourself and your family lots of money by doing this. So then the biggest thing for them was going to the pool. So they had a salt pool there, and they had so much fun. She was so cute. She's kind of a daredevil when it comes to the water, so I was standing right there with her. But she wanted to keep walking down the steps and see how much further she could get. So that's one thing with swimming with kids you got to be cautious on. So the hotel was Hometown Suites in Portland, Maine, and here's just an overview of the room. When we had a son who was disabled, I wanted to know, like, we never went any place because we felt like maybe we weren't able to do that because hotel rooms weren't very handicap accessible. So I'm trying to share here that I feel like this room probably, even though it was not handicap accessible, would be okay for Hoya lifts. As you'll see, like under the bed here, it would be okay for Hoya lifts. And there was a lot of room in here, and big families. I highly recommend here. They were really pleasant, no dirty looks for having a big family. We were able to do 2 rooms, and they were just great. The next day we went to the park right before we ended up going to the doctor's appointment. And this is a fun park right here. They have these huge, it's like 3 or 4 tracks where people can like zoom right along. So the kids had so much fun doing that, in case you can't tell by her expression. Just zooming back and forth before the appointment, because our appointment wasn't until 1, and we had to leave the hotel at 11. So we just did this. So I hope you all enjoy this trip to Portland.